All right, good morning or good afternoon to everyone out there. Of course, if you're in Australia, I guess this would be good evening. Today we're going to be doing our first in two live streams. This is December 26th. We're going to be concentrating on bush flying today. So bush flying is basically when you're going to be doing a lot of stuff with improvised airstrips. You're going to be doing all sorts of work that's going to be involving, kind of landing in kind of nasty places. And as you can tell by our gigantic little group of people over here, we're going to have a heck of a day. So this is going to be kind of fun. I've chosen not to do this video today in VR only on account of the fact that I don't know how smooth that's going to go. At another time, we can always test it out to see if it works. Oh, I feel very good luck with that. I did manage to get myself that livery pack that everybody absolutely loves, so we actually have an amazing collection of different colors that we get to see. So again, we'll take a look at this. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be flying here in Cameroon. I really wanted to do something along the Congo River, but I couldn't find anything that was close enough together to actually make it work. Along the way, we're going to land at a couple different villages in really, really nasty, tight, small spots. So this is going to be a good challenge, and I'll go ahead and talk about some of the different strategies for bush flying once we go ahead and get to those spots. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this thing going. Nice and simple. You click the battery master on. We're going to go ahead and make sure both sets of ignition is on. Flip on the strobe light to let everybody around us know. I'm just going to confirm visually that everything else looks good. My fuel is turned on. We don't have to worry about that in this particular aircraft. And all we do is sit here and crank it until it goes whoosh. And now we're good to go. All right. So what we're going to do today is, like I said, we're going to be taking off. This is called Masaya Airport. We are in basically southeast Cameroon. This is the dense Congo, and this is a very, very, very tricky place for us to fly because, as you're going to notice, there are actually very few places to land the aircraft. But we're going to do it anyway because it's just kind of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything all nice set up. Oh, yep, you're welcome, by the way. Some of the livery is actually pretty good, but what I didn't realize is how huge this pack is. Wow, that is not something you get to see every day. Okay, so I'm going to take off. I'm going to go ahead and I'll wait until everybody gets a little bit of altitude. I'll circle once, and then I'll go ahead and get going. So first things first, we're going to be doing a relatively short field takeoff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop my flaps down. You're trying to get your flaps and your ailerons to match up. That tends to be a pretty good amount of flap. I'm going to go ahead and hold the brakes all the way down. We're going to go ahead and push the throttle forward. Once we get up to full power, we're going to release the brakes, and we're just going to go ripping along here. So when we take off, this is going to hold the nose up just a teeny tiny bit. Again, get ready for a little bit of deflection, and we are airborne. Don't touch the flaps lever until we touch 100 kilometers an hour, which is right there. Bring up the flaps, and now we're just going to hold it nice and steady at right about 110 kilometers an hour and get a little bit of altitude. So first thing I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and bring ourselves around in a nice gentle turn. Again, we're trying to let everybody get kind of caught up to us before we start doing our actual adventuring here. We're, like I said, pretending that we're going to be delivering some nice supplies into the jungle, so we're going to have to find some pretty nasty spots. Of course, as you're taking a look out the window here, you notice there's a lot of green. Now, when you want to talk about some of the greenest places on Earth, this has got right up there with the Amazon as far as pure density goes. When they started exploring Africa, but I mean, they've been exploring Africa for hundreds of years, obviously. When you really think about it during the kind of the age of imperialism down in the 1800s, this was the impenetrable part of Africa. It was just, who knows what's here? It's just tremendous. So go ahead and take ourselves in a nice little donut here. Again, we're just giving everybody an opportunity to kind of get airborne. I'm not going to do anything too extreme. I feel like I'm playing DCS here because this is typically something you have to do with DCS. So we've taken out the Savage Cub today. I needed an aircraft that had tremendously short takeoff and landing capabilities because, as you'll see, we're going to need them pretty much. All right. Wow. That is not something you get to see every day. I'm going to bring myself over, and we're going to start our journey. Yeah, this is going to be right about here. I'm actually using mountains as my landmarks here. Sorry, excuse me, beep, 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 excuse me, sorry, sorry. Pardon, hold on. And now we are on our way. So now this particular aircraft is great because it's a tail dragger. It's basically in the correct landing configuration already. I don't have to do anything too crazy. Its trim is pretty darn sensitive. It's got a really, really good range. And the good thing is because this is one of those little Rotax engines, as long as you don't exceed 5,500 RPM, nothing bad should happen to your engine at any part. I'm going to go ahead and reduce power just a teeny tiny bit to about 4,500. That's a pretty safe cruising percentage as far as if you're looking for kind of a generic number there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to look into this jungle and find a nice spot to try to put this thing down on the ground. So the first thing I notice is up there on my left, I can see a very distinctive north-south road. I'm kind of looking right here. I can kind of follow with my mouse. It looks like not too bad of a spot. I see a little clearing down here, which looks interesting too, but I think it's going to be a little too tight for us. Looking kind of in this general direction, I see another clearing. Again, again, I think it's going to be a little bit too tight. But this road looks like it's going to be our first landing destination. So there's a lot of different tricks when it comes to trying to figure out if I can land somewhere. And again, let's say we get our little village or something that's right over here on the left, and we're supposed to land at it to drop some supplies off. We want to get as close to that village as we possibly can, with obviously, if we can't land at the village, we want to get close. So we need to find a lucky spot to kind of land this airplane. So kind of look along this road here. You're trying to find a section that's going to be as straight as possible, and preferably, you're going to try to find it so that it is facing into the wind. In our case, we only have a 2-knot wind out of the west, so I'm not too worried about it. So taking a look real quickly, I can see there's a pretty good section right along here that looks like we're going to be able to get in pretty safely. The problem is, as I get a little bit less altitude, you're going to detect that this entire section of road has got a lot of trees on it. And it probably isn't even. Again, you want to be looking out for how even the ground is. Like I can see there's a very, very small building right here. And I can probably guess that this is relatively straight. So again, I'm just kind of studying the ground here to kind of find a good place that we can do. So if we try to land basically here and kind of come across here, parking right by here, dropping off our supplies, we probably have enough room to turn ourselves back around and get back into the air a little bit later on. Taking a look around here, seeing if there's anything else. Again, the road kind of comes down that way, but that's 1.5 miles. That's a long walk. Yeah, this is looking pretty darn good, what I have right here. So let's take a look at what we have. Let's take a look. I'm liking it. I'm not a fan of those trees at all, but I think it's going to work okay for us. I'm actually going to pop outside for just half a second here and kind of get another look at it. Yep, that'll do just fine. Okay, so now since we're in bush plane mode, I'm going to go ahead and reduce my power. And the first thing you want to do before landing is you want to confirm where you're landing is a safe enough spot to land. Now, there's 2 different issues we have to deal with. First of all, terrain. If it's rough or the trees are too darn close to each other, we're basically going to run right into it. Second thing we need to worry about is are we going to have enough room to take off again as well as land? Now, there's a bunch of tricky, cool methods to use for this. The first method we can use is we can actually measure how long a runway is by how fast we're going. If we're doing 60 knots, you're traveling at about 100 feet per second. For us, that's going to be about 100 kilometers an hour. So if I simply time how long it takes me to cover my runway at 100 kilometers a second or 60 knots, I can estimate exactly how many feet that particular runway is. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look right there. Oh, that's a real bummer, Dave. I hate it when that does that. Okay, so this is looking like a pretty good spot right here. But like I said, I want to be able to confirm it both visually as well as lengthwise. So we need about 600 feet. So we need 6 seconds of runway in order to safely land. I'm going to kind of cruise right along here. That's looking like a pretty good spot. Visually, that's looking pretty narrow. So I think it's going to be pretty darn dangerous to cross. But that spot right there, I'm looking right at it. All right, we're going to get ourselves down to about 100 kilometers an hour and begin timing go. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8. Yeah, that's plenty. So we've got plenty of runway here. So we're actually going to be able to make this work. All right, let's go ahead and bring ourselves back around and prepare for our landing. I'm going to go ahead and do a fake little downwind leg here. I'll be waving to everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, geez, there's trucks on that road. That's not safe. All right, bring ourselves around. Again, we're just going to be landing the plane just like we normally do, but we have to be super duper 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 precise when we do this. You see that little uphill right there? If we hit that uphill wrong, we're going to end up getting airborne again. So we want to be very, 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 very cautious. So we're going to go nice and slow, nice and slow. All right, going to back this aircraft all the way down. That's actually probably a better spot right over there. Bring the flaps down that last notch. Now, one of the things with bush flying is you have to be comfortable flying the plane very slow. The trick to that in the real world is you can just kind of hear it. But again, just look at the attitude of the nose. Do you feel like the nose is being pulled up a lot? You're being aggressive with your controls. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look right over here on my left. Oh my gosh. This is a terrible idea. Let's do it. All right, lots of rudder. Oh, yep, we can do it. We can do it. Keep an eye on your airspeed. Try to keep your airspeed at the minimum, like 1.2 stall. Watch out for that tree. Good. All right, here we go. Again, nose up attitude. Gotta be aggressive with my feet. Aggressive. Sorry, trees. Nice. Ooh. That's one down. Oh, let's see who else can manage. Oh, I'm so glad that trees are not solid in Flight Simulator. Otherwise, I would have been quite suicidal. All right, come here. Oh, excuse me. Beep, 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 beep. This tree was not here when I came in a few minutes ago. So I'm going to go ahead and slow myself down. I got some people coming in for a landing right in front of me. Don't worry, they're non-solid, though, so I'm not too worried. How you doing? Whoa. Oh, I feel sorry for the 208. Is he going to make it? Oh, geez. That was terrible. So in the real world, we never would have done that, because if we tried to do something like that, we would have hit every single one of those trees. But on the flip side, we actually did a decent job actually setting this thing down. I'll see how everybody else does here. When did I say this? This is, as usual, this is dangerous. And we actually have to be able to get back up in the air here. Oh, Samuel, that's a little too much. Too much. Watch out for the car. Crunch. Oh, well. Whoa. Oh, man, that was got me a little shaky here. That got me a little shaky. Okay, let's go ahead and take back off again. So normally when you take off, you always want to take off downhill. I'm taking a look here. I'm already facing downhill, so I'm pretty much ready to go. We're going to do what they call a hop takeoff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply full power, and I'm not going to put the flaps down until I get to my rotate speed. Then you're going to jam the flaps down at the same time as pull up just a little bit to basically hop into the air. All right, hold the brakes forward. I'm going to go ahead and leave my flaps up. Push the throttle forward a little bit, and I'm going to push the nose of the plane down so that I can see where I'm going. Give it full power, give it full power. Again, we're just going to go ahead and use this, and we get to our speed, go ahead and drop the flaps, and we do the hop takeoff. So that's going to give us positively, absolutely minimum range. So I'm going to get up to about 80 knots, or I should say 80 kilometers an hour. We're just going to hold the nose up for just a few moments so that we can safely basically get back into the air again. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Bring the nose down, and we are good to go. Ivanov is asking a question about CMO. I will not be playing CMO on this stream. We're just sticking to Flight Simulator for now. If that's something that the community is interested in, we could probably take a look at doing that on another day. Okay, let's go ahead and get rolling here. So I've got probably about 50 people all crashing into the ground behind me. All right. Our first drop-off has been successful. Let's start heading deeper into the Congo here. This is actually the north part of the Congo, so I'm not too worried. I can always just go north if I get horribly lost, and things should go pretty well. Again, I've got like a 4-hour endurance. I'm not worried about it too much. All right, let's continue proceeding to our destination. As usual, when you're bush flying, you want to make sure you check the plane off before you take back to the air, because you don't want any nasty surprises hanging off the plane when you go to land. And I'm sure after that last one, that was a little bit bouncier than I wanted, but again, I should probably practice my sterile cockpit methods. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second here, let everybody kind of get caught up. It's kind of a slick trick, right? All right, let's continue. All right, let's see if we can find ourselves another good spot to land. That wasn't too bad. Again, if the trees were a little bit farther apart, I would have felt a little bit safer during that landing, but not too bad, not too bad. One of the common places, by the way, when you do bush flying to land is actually inside of like little streams and creeks, because they tend to be relatively straight a lot of times. All right, let's find another place to land this plane. All right. Of course, after that, I'm sure if I had a passenger, they'd be pretty mad. Ivanov, we're not going to be doing any DCS on this particular stream either. Again, like if there was community interest, we could put something together at another date. All right, taking a look out the window here. Ooh, we could probably do it. I'm not feeling terribly safe, though, because it's looking a little bumpy. There's also a tree right in the middle of the way. No. And what else we got? Oh, what's this? That looks... No, I don't think so. Now let's take a look more around. Again, we're looking for something relatively flat to try to set this thing down on the ground. I'm going to reduce my power so folks can catch up to me. That might be doable. I'm liking that. All right, let's kind of make our way down. Let's take another look. I'm liking that. I'm not going to lie. Do you see it? All right, let's go ahead and reduce power. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, I'm liking that. Let's get a little closer. We'll use our same exact technique before. We're going to get ourselves down to 100 kilometers an hour. We need to count about 6 seconds, unless, of course, we're going uphill. Because if you're going uphill, you can get to knock off 10% of your landing distance per degree, or per percentage, I should say, of grade. Obviously, that's not terribly large. This might be too small for us, but we'll take a look when we get a little closer. Getting a little closer. Actually, I'm thinking that might work. I'm just going to go ahead and actually go kick the nose over a little bit, just to kind of get a little look at it. I want to determine which way is uphill, because again, when we land on this thing, we want to be able to take advantage of gravity here. That's doable. Oh my gosh, that's a small spot. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. All right, slow down. Begin counting. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8. So it's about 800 feet wide. That's enough. This is going to be dangerous. Let's go ahead and put our flaps down. Okay, so anybody looking to join us, we are in the vicinity of Masaya Airport. That is FKYK, Foxtrot Kilo Yankee Kilo. I'm on all players, and I'm on the Eastern USA server. I see somebody has already managed to make the landing. Nicely done. I don't know how you can do that in a two-way. See the uphill? So we definitely need to come by the other way. All right, we can do it. It's big enough. It's big enough. I'm just glad I'm not trying to do this in the bigger cub. The big, I think, what is it, the X cub? That thing is just a little too big and too heavy for us. Yep, we can do it. There's a little bit of a downhill there, but I'm not too concerned with it. Go ahead and drop that next notch of flaps. We're going to go ahead and take a look out the window. Nice and slow, nice and slow. I don't like that tree right there. But again, this thing is going to be kind of sketchy to begin with. I don't know why I'm shaking here, but this is like, oh, every bit of concentration I got here. All right. Whoa, death curve. Oh, here we go. Nice and low, nice and low. One of the biggest dangers, by the way, is going to be birds in the real world. We don't have to worry so much about them in the simulator. All right, that's getting pretty slow. Oh, boy. Here we go. Oh, God. Here we go. Forward slip. Oh, I feel sorry for that 208. Come on, a little higher. Here we go. All right, just taking advantage of the plane. Taking advantage of the plane. Trying to get through the trees, getting through the trees. Landing uphill. Kill the flaps. And we're down. Hold the back. Nose up, nose up, nose up, nose up. Sorry, wheels. All right, I'm going to go join our little 208 here, which he's way braver than I am, because I can land as very stupid. Oh, no! I know! They're dropping like flies. All right, let's get rolling here. Oh! All right, I didn't say this was a good idea to land here. I just said it was possible to land here. Oop, careful, Mr. Nelson. All right, careful. Whenever you're downhill, you got to be really ginger on the brakes. All right, that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun. I'm just going to kind of be gentle here. I told you it was big enough. We only need 800 feet. Easy, easy. Go turn us around. Turn us around. All right. All right, let's see how we do here. All right, give everybody a crazy moment here to try to land on this thing. I didn't say this was safe. I just said it was, kind of fun. Obviously, you got to be quick with your feet. Oh, no, we lost another one. You got to be quick with your feet. You got to be quick with your hands. You got to have a lot of practice. And I love the fact I've got those monster tires on this thing. I would never want to do this in something like a Cessna 172. That would end terribly. All right, we're going to have to do a hop takeoff again, it looks like. Although I really want to take off downhill. I'm not really a fan of taking off uphill. But it looks like I don't really have a chance in this teeny tiny little field here. Oh, careful, careful, careful! Well, that's another dead one. I'm liking this DHL here. That's some pretty extreme delivery. I hope you guys charge extra for that. All right, everybody else is coming in. Everybody else, we'll give everybody a moment to get caught up. Whoa, I think that's a 172 or 152. Whoa, watch out, Dave. Whoa! You gotta have a little bit more control of your speed if you're gonna land at something this small. All right, got a bunch of people kind of coming down this way. All right, we're gonna watch, see who else is coming in. All right, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. All right, I think it's time to get back airborne. We're going to do a hop takeoff again. So again, I'm going to hold down the brakes, give it full power, and get a little bit of power. Once I get rolling, I'm just going to let the nose kind of get ripping. As soon as we get close to our takeoff speed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in full flaps, pull the controls back just a teeny tiny bit, and we are airborne once more. I'm going to go ahead and bring up that first notch of flaps. We're going to hold about 80 kilometers per hour until we get clear of obstacles, and then we'll go ahead and bring up that last notch of flaps. Now imagine if your engine suddenly failed. We'd be one with those trees. Bring up that next notch of flaps, and we are once again on our way. Oh man, this is stressful. I'm feeling it a little bit today. We'll try to find one more spot in the jungle before we go and kind of make our way towards our destination here. Go ahead and do that. I think we just discovered who our DHL flyer was. All right, let's see if we can find anything a little bit more interesting here. Whew, the poor wheels on this thing, man. I feel sorry for the guy who's got to do maintenance on this one. This is all over today. But so far, so good. So far, so good. All right, we're getting a little bit of altitude. That VL3 was the good choice for this because it's so tremendously lightweight. All right, let's get going once again. Let's see if we got anybody else following us. Go ahead and reduce our power just a little bit. I think that is the most I've seen behind me in a very long time, which is super exciting. Again, you guys are the reasons I like to do these things. All right, let's kind of proceed a little bit here. Looking pretty good. Generally, by the way, for altitudes, for bush flying, you always want to give yourself enough altitude. If you had an engine failure, you have enough place to actually see where you're going. Because if I know, for example, there's like a village up there on my right or something, I want to make sure I can keep a good eye on it. Because if I do have to ditch in the trees, at least I'm going to have a safe place. I'll know where I need to walk towards. That being said, anybody who's been in places like this know it's so dense, it would literally take us days to cover the distance by foot that we've just done by air in just a few minutes. All right, let's see if we can go find another nice spot. I'm going to reduce power a little bit more, let people get caught back up to me. I feel so sorry for the wheels on this plane. Well, it's more the shocks than the wheels, I'm sure. All right, we got a couple people catching up to us. Looks pretty good. Let's see if there's any other good spots to put this thing down. Kind of cruising around here. Cruising around. That spot up on my left looks pretty good, actually. Again, we'd probably be well out of supplies at this particular point, so we wouldn't be able to drop too much off. I'm just looking down there. Is that something I want? Actually, that's not bad. See this one right here? That's not bad at all. But seeing as everybody's still catching up, I think we should give everybody a few minutes before we land somewhere else. Yeah, that's doable. We can make that work. But I'm actually going to skip it, and we'll kind of proceed and kind of head next to our next destination. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. Ha, awesome. Yeah, we could do it. We could do it, but we'll go ahead and skip that one for now, and we're going to proceed this way. Now, if my flight planning from earlier reminded me of anything, I believe we should be coming up on a river in just a few minutes. Now, rivers are usually great because there's almost always civilization along a river, and people tend to put position, like if they pull out a bunch of crops, they're going to leave you a nice, happy landing spot. So we're going to kind of keep an eye out for that particular river. And once we get to that river, I think it's the Bangu River, B-A-N-G-U-E. Again, my pronunciation is going to be absolute garbage. Once we cross that, we're actually going to be looking for, I believe it is a mining complex a little bit to the east. There's a pretty good road there, and we'll try to take advantage of that when we get a little bit closer. So again, I'm just kind of looking around. We could probably do that, but again, I want to kind of head over to that mining complex because I know if my calculations are accurate, we should be pretty darn close to that river. It's not like I've got a GPS here or anything like that. I have a timer on my left here on my desk. I'm just kind of following and kind of hauling the same general direction. Lucky for us, visibility is really good today. You know, I can't feel the humidity right now, but you can feel the humidity right now. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so is that mountain? It's going to be... There it is. Got it. Beautiful. There we go. All right, swing a little bit to the left. Again, I'm just giving everybody a chance to kind of get caught up before we do another stupid landing. Looks pretty good. Again, I'm just using my feet to go ahead and center myself out here. I don't need to do anything aggressive. Take a look behind us. Apparently half of Europe is following us. Awesome. All right, we should probably get a little more altitude. I like at least 1,000 feet because one of the things I mentioned earlier is birds. But again, I don't have to worry about that too much today. Let's just take a look real quickly. Somebody was asking how to join. If you're looking for joining information, you have to set the server just by going up here. Actually, tap escape, click right here. You can set it to East USA and make sure all players are selected in multiplayer, and you should be able to join pretty easily. There is an upper limit on the number of players that can be in one active instance, so I can't guarantee anything, unfortunately. All right, so I'm getting a little nervous here because I'm looking at my clock, and I should have hit the river already. I don't think that's it. Uh-oh. Anybody have a GPS back there? All right, I hope somebody's got a GPS. Yeah, my math says we should be hit. Oh, there it is. Oh, my God. Scared me for a second here. Okay, so I don't know anywhere where we are along it. And that river does not look nearly straight enough to be able to safely plop that thing down. Yeah, you can see it real quickly here. Kind of reminds me of a road more than a river, but you can see how it kind of zips through real fast. Okay, so our next destination is going to be this little mining complex, which is going to be right off the nose, right there. We should be getting there in, what does my clock say? 2:25, 2:30? Not too far from now. I'm looking around, too. I'm not really seeing a lot of really happy spots. We might be able to get in here, but again, we might not be able to get back out. I'm going to head right over here because I know there's going to be a much softer place to land once we get a little bit closer. All right, let's go ahead and take a look behind us, see how everybody else is doing. I got a couple people sitting right there on my left. A couple people back there. I feel sorry for the guys in the Cessnas in this one because you're a little disadvantaged as far as takeoff distance goes. All right, one thing I noticed right away is I spotted a road. Now, normally because of the density of the real jungle, you'd never be able to see that road. You might get lucky, like out of this corner spotting it, but I'm noticing that this north-south road is going to take us right where we want to be, which is going to be right over here on the left. Again, imagine if you tried to do this with more visibility. I'm seeing a couple more good spots to land, but like I said, I want to kind of do this. Uh-oh. No, everybody's back there. Sam, you're a little close there, buddy. All right, I guess that means I need to increase my power. 5,000 RPM. That's plenty. Don't forget you have to trim the nose back down when you do something like that. Delightful. Okay. Somebody in a TBM? Yes. You are crazy, sir. Although my TBM will be able to land this time because there's going to be plenty of room. Okay, let's start planning for our next landing destination here. Again, we're just starting to get close to the edge of leaving Cameroon here. Yeah, that's where we want to be. Love that. Looks pretty good to me. Looks pretty good to me. All right, looks pretty good. Yeah, this is it. All right, my altitude's about 3,000 feet, which is more than enough for this. We're going to have to actually get down a little bit lower later on. What I was really hoping to see is antennas, because usually what happens whenever you have something large and civilized, it's going to have things poking out of the top of it, which makes it much easier to spot at a distance, because you usually have little red dotty lights, but it won't be too bad. All right, studying real quickly. Our final destination, by the way, is going to be up here in the mountains. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so if this has got a north-south runway, or I should say a road, that's probably going to be our destination where we're going to be trying to land. We'll do our usual pass, count off to see how long it's going to take us to cover the distance, and then we're going to go ahead and do this. This is a Savage Cub for those of you who are interested. All right, that looks like chaos behind me, but it's always fun to watch. Yep, that's going to be us. You can see the little teeny tiny facility right there. Now imagine if you wanted to go on vacation all the way out here, just how difficult it would be to get physically in this location. Yeah, you can start to see in the little buildings. You're actually going to see a whole set of company warehouses and apartments and everything here. This is just like they said, they just carved it right out of the jungle and start putting things in the ground there. It's kind of neat. Pretty good open spot over here. You got a couple buildings directly to your west there. All right, let's start bringing ourselves down. I'm just going to go ahead and nose over a little bit. As long as we don't go into the red, I'm not too concerned with this particular airplane. Again, this is an ultralight plane, so got to be kind of cautious with it. All right, just got to start coming down again. Performance is pretty good today, so I'm not worried about too much. Oh, that's awesome. So apparently there's an add-on that you can actually do things that'll go ahead and throw in all the different like VFR obstacles. Like I know they have windmills and they have some antennas, but it's definitely one of those things that I'd want to see more of. It's one of those things even X-Plane does a really good job of. Of course, you also have power lines. Power lines are nice. All right, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. All right, folks, behind us, we're going to go ahead and probably do something along this lines. I believe the north side of this small town here has actually got themselves almost like a concrete road that we could use, but I believe it's going to be uphill again. So for those of you who are landing, please go south to north, don't go north to south. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the woods like half of everybody else is. Apparently, somebody's approaching us at very high speed. What do we got here? Major Health Nelson. Okay, sounds good, sounds good. Yep, see the town? See the little apartments? Because they're all going to be neatly lined up with each other. So if I recall correctly, this is an old surface dig here. All right, kind of come around to my left here. Yeah, that looks good. All right, taking a quick look here. That's looking pretty nice, pretty nice. I'm just kind of studying the ground here real fast. I'm guessing... I'm just studying. This does not look very safe for us. We tried that once already, and we know how wonderful that did. All right, let's get... exactly. All right. This looks pretty good, but that looks like it's uphill again, and I don't know how much of a fan I am going uphill, as you can probably imagine. Right here. That's going to be the spot. I noticed there's a small little kind of V-shaped thing here, but we've got the dirt road. I think that's a bridge. We don't want to land on that. I also noticed between all these buildings right in here, you can kind of see that there's a pretty nice little smooth spot there too. But again, I don't like this curve, and I really don't want to turn around if I don't have to. This, on the other hand, looks awesome. Let's go take a look. And in the real world, by the way, VFR pilots bring binoculars with them, so I think it's completely legal to go ahead and use the zoom option. All right, we're going to get ourselves a little bit closer to this little town here. We'll go ahead and set the thing down on the ground. All right, looking pretty good so far. I don't see anything too concerning. Looking out the window. Going to go ahead and zoom in one more time, make sure everything looks good. Yeah, that's going to be the spot. Between those two buildings right there. Go ahead and get the plane. Right there. Like, that's it. I'll bring myself up just a teeny tiny bit here. We're going to go do our check to make sure it is the correct length before we land. Remember, we need 8 seconds at 100 kilometers an hour. It's about 60 knots for those of you who want to do the old-fashioned one. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I don't know that I want to do that. That looks kind of dangerous, to be honest. I kind of like that, though. Although, you're really going to want to land right there between where those two trees are in that nice flat section. Let's go take a look at it real quick. All right, I think we're going to have plenty of room here. But again, I don't want to make a mistake because that's just going to be embarrassing. This is a lot easier in VR for anybody who's caught that patch recently. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be uphill too. If you hold the plane level and you can see the thing going up, it's uphill. All right, 100 kilometers an hour. We're just going to go ahead and do our quick test. Go go ahead and look out the window real quick. And our landing is going to start right here. That's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, 11 Mississippi, 12 Mississippi, 13 Mississippi. Yeah, we're plenty. All right, this is it. This is going to be beautiful. Ah, this is going to be the easiest one we do so far. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves right around here. Oh, I see somebody already figured out where we're landing. Good job, sir. Good job. It definitely is uphill, and it looks twisted a bit. All right, going to go ahead and bring myself around. Nice and easy. Oh, look at that town. It's just so cool. Picky, 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 pickoo. All right, you guys had the right idea. I think you're going to beat me down to the ground there. Again, I love it when you have something nice. I think our 208 actually has something to land on today. This is awesome. At least nobody brought the 747 this time, although last time I said that, somebody showed up in one. So I should be less specific. All right, so you're going to want to bring the plane down to basically the bottom of that green line there. So for us, it's going to be about 75 knots, which is nothing. All right, slow down, slow down. All right, get us right to the bottom. Again, I'm using a lot of feet here because feet are your best friends for landing this stuff. All right, swing around to my left. Keep an eye. Be careful with this turn. You're going to have very low energy. All right, here we go. Again, we want to land right where that... Whoop, excuse me. Get that speed down. Get that speed down. Remember, you need a little bit of extra lift. All right, we're going to get right by that tree. Again, I'm doing a slip so I can see up my front windshield. I'm going to come out nice and left. All right, I want to land right after the tree. And, whoa. I hate it. Oh, that would have been bad. That was a sheared. That was a shear. Okay. Woo. Sorry, suspension again. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this thing rumbling. We're actually going to take off in the opposite direction we land. I'm going to speed up just a little bit. We don't need a hop takeoff this time. We need a conventional. I'm just going to kind of speed up. Man, you folks did a great job. I feel like this is like when they come rolling in with a new airliner and everybody in the fire department has to get out the fire hoses. All right, folks, we're going to turn around and we're going to be heading towards our final destination. Excuse me. Nobody jamming the brakes too hard. Nobody jamming the brakes too hard. I'm going to be easy, easy, easy. All right, let's turn around. We're only going to use one notch of flaps for takeoff here. We don't need both. Ah, looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. All right, I'm sure this, it's sort of like when they do that big fly-in out west in the U.S. Hey, the 208 made it. All right, I'll let everybody kind of get out of the way. Again, this would be a perfectly reasonable place for an aircraft like this to land. It's a little uphill for us, but we'll be okay. All right, I'm just going to do a conventional takeoff here. Nothing too serious here. Go ahead, hit the gas, get a little bit of speed. Again, since we're going downhill, we just give it the world's teeny tiniest tug, and we are airborne. 100 kilometers an hour, bring up the notch of flaps. And we are on our way once again. All right, our next destination is going to be our actual destination, which is going to be seeming a little bit weird. All right, going to go ahead and spin myself around here. Easy, easy. All right, nicely done, nicely done, nicely done. I'm going to go ahead and look at my window here real quick. Everybody's taken back to the air. Wonderful. All right, folks, we're going to be heading north-northeast. All right, now we've loaded up on supplies. We visited our little mining town. Everything is looking great. Okay, let's go ahead and start heading north again. I'm going to bring the nose up. I'm going to get back up to about 3,000 feet or so. This is a pretty neat plane, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not a huge fan of these slow-moving tail draggers, but I don't know. For stuff like this, it feels like it's the right plane to use. I was going to do this on a Cessna 208, but we need much, much, much bigger runways for that. And just kind of cruise out for a minute here. I wonder how much fuel we've gone through. Probably about 2.5 gallons, something like that. All right, there's about 3,000 feet. I love the fact I have no attitude indicator. You just kind of have to feel it out. I'm going to go ahead and reduce my throttle to about 4,500 RPM to let folks catch up and begin the trimming process. All right. Kind of miss my attitude indicator a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're basically going to follow the road all the way to our destination here today. Oh boy, slow down, easy, easy, easy. A little bit of trim. I hate how the trim accelerates. The real plane, the trim only trims as much as you trim. And that's not too bad. Delightful. Okay, let's take a look at the folks behind us and see how they're doing. I see they've all decided to follow me again. Okay, So now the great thing here is all we literally have to do is follow this road all the way to our destination. As a matter of fact, if you have a really good idea, what's an idea? If you have really, really good eyes, you can actually see our destination, which is going to be parked up there. We want to land uphill, so again, it's going to be south to north. Go ahead and take a quick little look. Yeah, I wonder what road that is. Could you imagine driving on that road? This is just so crazy. It's so amazing. Like, just like there's one road and that's it. Yep, I think somebody lives there. Imagine all the different things like that just like live inside of this forest compared to like, you know, stuff we normally travel over where there's like buildings and cities and everything. It's just an amazing, amazing concept. You can tell we're starting to kind of leak outside of the main little area here because we're starting to get into this little mountain range, which actually helps separate the countries. We could land anywhere along this, but we already had our little experiment on landing that. We'll go ahead and land a little bit to the north here on this really, really, really big runway. Oh, somebody's making fun of my DJ voice here. That's okay. All right, let's continue making our little trip. No, look at that. It looks like we have somebody else. A two-story. You can just imagine what that's probably going to be. And moving around this way, that looks pretty good. Just looking to my north here, and that's going to be our final destination. We'll do a little encore, try to land on whatever this is up top. It looks like there's actually a pretty good spot kind of here in the middle. I'm just kind of taking a look here. I don't think we can put down on it, at least from where I'm sitting, so we'll get a little bit closer first. The interesting thing is, what was that? Can't see it again. All right, let's continue looking around. Okay, looks good. Oh, geez. I probably should have shut off names so that we could actually see where everybody is behind us. And got somebody doing some loop-de-loops. Love it. Yeah, we probably could set down right on here, but like I said, we're pretty darn close to where our final destination is. So we're just going to kind of go up there and then check out what this is a moment later. Go ahead and give this a nice, gentle little right turn. Nothing too crazy. And there is our final destination. This is Nagola Airport. All right, it almost feels weird having to like land the plane on an actual runway. But again, after this little flight, you know, I kind of look forward to landing on a regular runway. All right, let's go ahead and get ourselves some nice permission here.
Foxtrot Kilo Yankee Alpha traffic red, 645 miles, south 3,000 feet inbound to land runway 30.
All right. Now that we've announced our position, we're good to go. Yep, I think that would have probably been a pretty good spot to land to, but we're right next to the airport. Why don't we go ahead and bring ourselves in? Stick my head back up real quick. That looks pretty darn good. Normally we want to, of course, fly a regular traffic pattern and everything along those lines, but I'm not too worried about it today. I think our TBM is actually going to have a safe place to land. This is a monster runway. This is not nearly as small as it looks. Let's see if he's still back out there somewhere. I got a VL3. Pretty good. Savage is definitely a good choice for this one. I think the other X-Cub, the one with the Lycoming 360, is a little bit too big of an engine, so I don't want to do anything like that. And as usual, it's an uphill runway. And that is our final destination. And then we'll go up on the hill and see if we can land on that, whatever that is. All right, slowing down. Go ahead and announce we're on final. I love these little planes. As soon as you kill the power, the nose just goes, oh, and it sinks. In the real world, the reason that's going to happen, of course, is because the wash of the propeller no longer goes over the end of the elevator, so you instantly lose control of the elevator. Not complete control of the elevator, but you lose quite a bit of it. And it's something in the real plane you can feel almost instantly. It's actually kind of neat. Okay, so this one's going to be a little interesting for us because it's actually a normal runway, but more importantly, it's significantly uphill. So when you go to land on it, you're going to have to actually pull up just a teeny tiny bit more than you need to do. Somebody also did something wonderful. Thank you so much, AIK. You are literally the first person who's ever pressed that button. I really, really do appreciate it. Again, it's good stuff, and I'm glad that you folks really, really enjoy it. All right, making our way down here. I don't have like the funky little banner that goes across the top. I'm just a little bit too low tech for that kind of stuff. All right, gonna go ahead and pop my flaps down. I think I'm gonna follow this guy, and he seems to know what he's doing. I love the pink plane. That's awesome. All right, here we go. I hate to say this is gonna sound weird, but my right leg is just like a little stiff because this is a little stressful with some of these. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the aircraft down to a nice and low speed. Do our good old gumples. Make sure our lights are on. Might as well slap on the landing light. Why not, right? And we are arriving. Now wait till you see how big this runway is. It's a bit of an optical illusion because of everything around us. Again, when you're landing a plane like this, you want to land it basically on all three wheels at the same time, but to do so, you need to have your nose up at about 6 or 7 degrees. I'm going to land right on the big old number 30 there. I'll go ahead and back the throttle out early. It's kind of like a tree 6 to me. Hold the nose up. Remember, you got to go uphill, so pull back at the last second. Ah-ha-ha! Perfect three-pointer. That is the first good landing I've done today. Whoa! Not bad. Don't hit the brakes too hard, but everybody knows that. All right, well, I'll kind of watch everybody come in. I'll do my usual kind of Q&A thing here. Nicely done, everybody. Again, you're the reason that I like to do this stuff. It is so much fun. We'll be doing this again this afternoon. I should say this evening, I should say. A couple of you folks, it's probably going to be a little bit past your bedtime, but again, you can always catch it on the replay. But this evening, we're going to be down in Lesotho, which is a very unique country because it's up so darn high, but there are a million really neat opportunities to try to land an airplane like this. So I'm going to go ahead and spin myself around and see how everybody does. I think this is the most I have seen doing this in a very long time. So, I mean, we kind of got that going for ourselves here. I kind of like this big old pile of people. Whoop! Sorry, I cut you off. Didn't mean to. All right, I'm going to kind of swing around the back side of this guy right here. All right. This is probably the most X-Cubs there are on planet Earth. Go ahead and spin myself around. Easy on the brakes. Easy on the brakes. Delightful. Now let's see how everybody does. Whoa! Like I said, didn't hit my parking brake hard enough. Brakes. There we go. Nice. Kind of see everybody kind of join us here. This is so neat because you actually get to see all the names here. Hopefully everybody had a good flight here today. Like I said, I thought this was pretty darn slick. Again, this is very rare that you get this many airplanes all kind of in one spot at the exact same time. Ooh, my legs. Look around over on this side. Oh, man, there's a ton more folks over here as well. Again, you can see my little number. Bummer I can't see everybody's numbers. I'd be kind of curious how many 666s and 420s are hanging, and 69s, obviously. Hey, look, our 208 actually made it. That's absolutely awesome. That must have been quite a project to land on some of these runways here. Kind of looking around quick. As usual, I always like to do a quick little Q&A at the end. Is there anything that anybody have any questions on anything, whether it be bish flying or kind of flying in general? Oh my, we went through a lot of fuel. I think I only had half a tank in, so I think that's why it appears that I went through so much fuel. All right, keeping an eye if there are any questions. Keeping an eye. Oh, wait, we got one. It doesn't look like a runway to me, but a grass field. Does that have to do with settings? I'm actually not sure, Dean. I don't know what it looks like to you, so I can't speak to it. One thing that you do need to do is you need to make sure that you have some kind of something in there. I believe if you go to... I can show you, actually. Give me 2 seconds. If you go to General and you go over to... Where's... Data. You need to double check to make sure these are turned on. If these are not turned on, you're not going to get the same style runways as everybody else is. I know that that's true. Let's see here. Next question. Can you do a VNAV tutorial? Okay, so VNAV right now is a little weird. If you're doing VNAV in an airliner, it's extremely simple to do. If you're doing VNAV in something like G3000 or G1000, it's a little wonky because you can't really set the correct altitude directly. You have to do it through the flight planner. Deborah asks, what do you... I'm not sure what you're asking about that. You'll have to restate your question. DJ Sketch asks, landing planes in larger would be a fun live stream. No 747s. As far as larger planes goes, it totally depends on the plane. Again, some of them are relatively straightforward. Honestly, the bigger the plane, the less twitchy your landing tends to be, so that's actually a good thing. But we could definitely take a look at that another later time. Deborah asks, what plane do I fly the most? Ooh, that is a mean question. And now that we have VR, I've been very, very partial to the stunt planes because they're just so much fun to fly through New York City being stupid. I also really, really like the TBM 930. I really like the Bonanza. It's just a spectacular airplane. It's very easy to fly. Somebody's asking, real quickly, anyone know the airport code? This is Foxtrot, Kilo, Yankee, Alpha. Again, we're in Cameroon. This is Central Africa. Oh! Helter Skelter decided to bring out the big scary airplane. I gotta zoom out a little bit so we can get some more pictures here. Nice. That's gotta be our group shot right there. All right, any folks have any other questions? Awesome. Okay, so if nobody else has any questions, for those of you we'll see later on tonight, that's going to be at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing, like I said, a solo. That is going to have some serious elevations involved, and you're going to have a lot of like sliding off mountains and landing in very, very small farms, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Otherwise, folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. Stay safe, and I hope you guys had a really, really happy holidays and everything like that. We'll check you out later. Next week, we got some VR stuff coming. We have some stuff with other aircraft coming, and in a few weeks, we'll have some stuff with VATSIM. Peter asks, are there any tips for landing challenges? I hate to say this, but a lot of it is just coming a little slower than you need to, and you just got to practice, and you've got to be quick with your feet, and you've got to be quick with everything else. One trick that I did not mention that I probably should have is if you need to stop an airplane in a hurry, all you have to do is you have to take the controls and pull them all the way back towards you, stand on the brakes, and at the same time put the flaps up. If you do that, the aircraft will stop a lot faster, and your brakes will basically do all the stopping work. Another question somebody asked is, how do we find these airports? Honestly, I use SkyVector and Google Maps in order to find these things. Usually I just see something that looks really interesting, and I just try to find the nearest airport towards it. And then somebody's asking about the Savage Gravel. I'm not sure what you're asking there. Otherwise, have a great time. For those of you I see tonight, I'll see you again. For those of you who are just tuning in to watch this on a replay, hopefully you got some good tips there. We'll repeat some of that tonight. Otherwise, have a great day, and have a happy new year if I miss you. Enjoy.